Today at Hellow Media, we chatted with Suzana, who holds media at the Lort Smith Animal Hospital. We have many questions from Suzana, but as the animals she recounts, the stories she heard, and the wonderful thing the Lort Smith has done over the past 90 years.
Can you tell us about your role as head of media?
Sure can, GP. So at Lort Smith Animal Hospital, I manage all the positive media placements that go out. For example, if you see something in the newspaper that's a really nice, good, feel-good story about the Lort Smith, that's what I've been doing behind the scenes. Same with the television, radio interviews. So I generally work to let the public know what is happening at the hospital, what are some good safety messages for pets out there, and then if there's any, sometimes unfortunately there will be people that are maybe a little bit unhappy about an experience they might have had either through our adoption centre or the hospital, and then I'll work with the media to get some answers to the public about why something like that might have occurred. So that's primarily what I do, and I also manage with my social media coordinator our social media accounts, so our Facebooks, Instagram, TikToks, all those lovely platforms. I manage those as well. So we gather content every day and try to give the public an insight into what happens at the hospital.
So with your assistant, like you said, you would have to manage the content. So would you have to have a little look at them and then approve them together and then they would go up?
Yeah, that's right. So what happens is Dana, who is the social media coordinator, she'll come up with a list of suggestions every day. She'll go for a little walk around the hospital and see what animals might have a different sort of case, or maybe sometimes there's adoption animals that really need a push on our social media. So we might feature one of those, and we'll just talk about how we want to position it, what the audience will be, what photos will work best on the day. Some photos work different for different platforms. Some social media platforms prefer different content altogether to what we had in mind. So we'll tailor that and adjust that every day to make sure that we're reaching as many people on as many different platforms as we can.
And did you have to study for your role?
Yes, I studied for 3 years at Deakin University with a Bachelor of Arts in Professional Writing. There was many other options that could also lead you to this path. A lot of people went down the Bachelor of Journalism, but for myself, I really enjoyed writing. And I think if you're a good writer, you're able to express yourselves in many more mediums than just orally as well.
What's inspired with working with the animals?
I've always had a love for animals, and they don't have a voice, so I think as many people as possible should be a voice for the animals. So for me, being able to be a voice for so many animals that I work with every day is really inspirational.
If you could be any animal, would you choose?
There's so many options for that one. That's a really tough question, but I think I'd have to choose a tiger.
What is the day look like?
That's a great question. No day is the same in the world of media, and that's probably one of the reasons why I love working in the media. Every day is quite unpredictable. It all varies with the news cycle. It varies with what you put out there, what the pitch is to the media. So someday, like for example, on Monday night, I found out that the story we pitched about the cat in the dryer that you guys have been talking about, that cat, the editor of the Herald Sun called me on Monday night and they said, this story is running on the front page tomorrow. And then the whole next 48 hours was chaotic organising that. So it could be very busy, it could be very frantic, but it's absolutely rewarding. Some days are quiet and I get to go out and meet lovely people like you and all these guys out here. So yeah, every day is different.
Do you have your pet?
I sure do. I've got the most cheekiest Jack Russell in the country, possibly in the world. His name is Toby. Toby, the day before, chewed his 4th remote control. Yes, so Toby got upset that myself and my partner and my daughter went out without him for 10 minutes, mind you. And when we got back, the remote control was chewed up. So there was another trip to Bunnings and another remote control, but that's Toby. He's a very lovable larrikin.
What advice would you give someone getting their first pet?
Now this is a very important question, so I'm really glad you asked me. So obviously, you know, people love getting pets. A lot of the time they incorrectly choose them because they're cute, and that's something we want to avoid. So when you think about what you should be doing before getting a pet, have it think about its long-term future. So a pet, you've probably heard, is not just for Christmas or the holidays. It's not a gift, it's for life. We already know that. So make sure you can take care of that pet for its whole life, and that's usually somewhere between 15 to 20 years. We find pets are living longer, even longer these days, and some cats can even live up to 30, would you believe? So you need to be making sure you're well across the fact that you need to love them forever. And if you're getting a dog, just check out their breed and make sure that breed is suitable to your lifestyle. Some dogs are okay with small spaces, some are not. Some need big spaces, some are okay just lounging around, you know, on your couch or on your lap. So you just have to think about your living circumstances and how much time you can devote to them, and just making sure you're a perfect match.
Okay, so we know you're not really a surgeon type, but specifically for this question, in the hospital you work at, what's the biggest animal they or you worked on? Yeah, so one time, and this is a true story, we had a tiger come in. We've got a partnership with Melbourne Zoo, and we've got one of the biggest CT scanners in the Southern Hemisphere. So if there's a really big animal that needs to be scanned, the zoo will bring it to us. So one day there was a tiger lying in our CT scanner, so that was pretty cool. But we've got all kinds of pets that come in. We've got an exotic vet, we've got snakes that come in. The other day we had a brown carpet snake, I think it was, so it's not the biggest. So what, the size of a door or something?
Could be, they're all different sizes. We had a bearded dragon, we get all kinds of exotic pets as well as your normal bunnies, cats, birds, dogs. So, and they all need different things. If you deal with exotic animals, do you need like a vaccine for them or for humans in general? Well, in general, vets aren't required to get extra vaccinations just to be a vet. Obviously, if something happens and they get bitten, they'll need to go to a human hospital and have that treated. In terms of what kind of vaccinations our pets need, it's recommended that they get their annual vaccinations so they can stay on top of potential diseases. Different type of animals might require additional vaccinations depending on their current health.
What has been the funniest animal that you've seen or pet name you've seen in your time at the Lort Smith Melbourne Animal Hospital? There are so many that we see, but I think one that particularly stands out, and every year, by the way, we release our top 10 unusual pet names, so watch out for that in December. So one of the funniest pet names that we've seen was a guinea pig. And this guinea was he from the country of Guinea? Possibly.
We didn't ask him. The guinea pig's name was, it was a she actually, Delilah Diva Dumpling. Pet names, people tend to name them after celebrities, so there's lots of your usual celebrities. You know what's a big thing now, a big trend? Naming pets after foods. That's huge.
Who are your favourite Disney movies?
I think Mulan would have to be one of my favourites. Yep. Just because it teaches us a story about resilience and the fact that sometimes things don't go our way, but having a challenge in life sort of makes us better for it. Yeah. And we push through and we persevere and we come out on top and an even better person for the experience.
What are your favourite animals?
Obviously I love everything in the jungle and the savannah and all those animals, but look, I'm a simple gal, can't go past the dog.
What's your proudest campaign moment?
It'd probably have to do with a dog called Atticus. What started off as a pretty sad story. Atticus was sadly found starving on a dumpster bin outside someone's home. So we took Atticus in, and as soon as we brought him in to the vets, even though they're used to seeing very sick pets, there was lots of tears in the room and you couldn't help being moved by his story.
And regardless of the fact that he was starving, as soon as he was touched, his tail started wagging. So that shows to me how special animals are. And all they want is love and kindness. So over the next few weeks, we gave him a lot of care, lots of attention, medical and otherwise. And he grew stronger and stronger every day. And I got to watch that and document that as part of the upcoming media promotion on Atticus. You know, we did several stories on Atticus, and everyone got to find out, you know, how resilient and beautiful an animal he was, and that no animal, no matter what someone's circumstances, deserves to be abandoned and dumped on the streets. So telling Atticus' story, through his story we were able to tell that to the public and spread that message about the fact that we need to be kind. We need to have a kinder world when it comes to animals. And then obviously the day that Atticus first stood up, because he couldn't stand, he was so weak, and then he stood up to have some water and do what he needed to do, and that was a really proud moment for everybody, because it wasn't just, you know, vets and nurses caring for him, it was foster carers, it was everyone in the shelter was part of it. And then obviously the final part of his chapter was when we got to say goodbye to him. And I still get a tear in my eye because he was such a special, special boy. And then he got adopted, and there was a big group of people wanting to say goodbye to him, and we waved him outside of the gates for the final time. And now he's living happily ever after on a farm somewhere in Victoria. So being part of that message, where you can, you know, be able to spread the message about being kind to animals, is something I'll never forget.
Have you ever had a negative campaign moment, or are they all just positive?
Unfortunately not. I'd love it to be, you know, every day is great stories. But look, sometimes things happen, sometimes accidents happen. We're all human. Sometimes, you know, we won't get it 100% right. And there are learnings from things like that. And it is my job then to explain to the public through the media about how that happened. And more importantly, about the steps that we're putting in place to make sure that it doesn't happen again. You know, I've been at Lort Smith for just over close to a year and a half now. I think there's only been once that we've had something that needed explaining, but it wasn't luckily a life or death situation or anything like that. But look, sometimes these things happen, and it's all part of the job for me.
If you could invite anyone to dinner, who would it be and why?
All right, two people. One real and one fictional. So the first one, who's now deceased, would be the author Anne Rice. Not sure if you know, but she was famous for writing all the vampire books, like The Vampire Lestat, An Interview with the Vampire. So Anne Rice definitely, because her mind fascinates me. And then fictional, it'd probably be The Vampire Lestat. He gets up to a lot of cool things that I want to know about.
What would you cook, or like, would you get food delivered?
I'll definitely get food delivered, because I know vampires can't be killed, but if they ate my food, there's a good chance that might be a world first. Can't go wrong with the pizza, because then you can eat it the next day. Pizza's always good. There's nothing wrong with pizza.
Not only is the Lort Smith Animal Hospital a hospital, it's also a dog training centre. How much of your marketing goes into that compared to the hospital?
Yeah, so our marketing of our training services is pretty important, but it's not as much as the services we put into the hospital with our consults, but it is important that our training services are out there, because socialisation of pets, especially dogs these days, is huge. So what we see, and what the average punter would see out there, is if you go to any dog park at any time, there's something not right happening. You know, there's people talking to each other, not paying attention to their pets, and they leave their pets on their own, and what happens next? Something pretty bad. So we need to be able to have the appropriate training for dogs, so they're socialised, they know recall, so if something does happen, they come back. So back in, you know, even just a few years back. You know, many people would have thought, you know, taking a dog to puppy school or dog training school is something that is just a bonus. It's something, you know, you could do if you could afford, but really it is a major, super worthwhile investment to be able to have a dog that can follow commands.
You've obviously had a lot of, you know, sad stories, but tell me about some of the good stories that have come out of the Lort Smith Animal Hospital, and have you got a favourite?
Probably not a favourite, but they're also inspirational. I mean, just the other day, I was telling Daz and Cindy on their radio show about a little kitten that was trapped in an engine that was rescued. That was pretty special as well. You all would have probably by now seen Minam, the cat that was stuck in a dryer for 4 hours. That probably has to be up there with one of my favourites. But look, there's lots of inspirational stories of resistance. Resilience rather. Animals are very resilient. Just the other day, we had a dog come in that ate an almost entire hairbrush.
I'm sorry, what?
Hairbrush. So I think we posted this on our socials a few days ago. So if you go, we've posted the X-ray, and it clearly shows the bristles, the brush in its tummy. So they're always coming in swallowing really bizarre things. Foreign objects is probably the biggest thing that we see animals come in. And cats love those Nerf pellets from the Nerf guns.
Nerf guns, yeah.
Yeah, lots of those in their tummy floating around.
Now, you work in media and marketing. How many times have you had to correct Lord to Lort on the computer?
The media still get it wrong all the time. So we've got a media monitoring service that picks up our stories so we can see what people are saying about us. And a lot of the time, people are still saying Lord. So, but yeah, it is L-O-R-T. Lort Smith. We are named after Louisa Lort Smith, who founded Lort Smith Animal Hospital 90 years ago. So this year we're celebrating our 90th birthday. So it's definitely named after Louisa Lort Smith rather than our Lord Jesus Christ.
How can people support the Lort Smith Animal Hospital? Because it's a very important piece.
Yeah. Good question. Thank you for that question. Lots of ways. Obviously, you know, if you can donate, that would be great. If you can donate money, because we don't receive any ongoing state government funding at all. So what we do rely on the kindness of the community to keep the hospital running, pretty much, and that enables us then to dip into our programs like the Pet Care Crisis Fund, which means that if you're doing it really tough financially, we'll be able to cover a lot of that cost for you. And we work with partnerships like with Good Shepherd, for example. They'll provide you a loan. We'll try pay a lot of that money to get you going. And our main mission has been 90 years ago and is still today to keep pets and their people together. So we'll do whatever we can to keep pets and their people together. And other ways you can support us, if you can, during winter, especially now, it's in the cold months, is by donating blankets, unopened canned foods, treats. And another good way is to be a foster carer for our animals that need help getting stronger, and especially with little kittens coming in during kitten breeding season. So lots and lots of ways to help us.
What's your favourite superpower, if you had one?
If I had a superpower, I think I'd like to be able to freeze people in time, because then it will stop them from saying something mean to someone else. And then I can show them a little video of what it would be like if they could say something nice and the impact it would have on their life if they made a good decision. And then I'd unfreeze them.
What's the most rewarding part of your job?
It'd have to be the happy outcomes, not just from the adoption centre, but also from our veterinary clinic. You know, watching a dog or cat that was so sick then being able to go home and into the loving arms of
Of
its
a person.
family. Yeah, there's nothing better than that. They belong at home with their people. So as much as we love them in the adoption centre and the clinics, they need to go home.
They need to go where they loved.
Exactly. And we love, you know what else I love? I love seeing pure joy on someone's face when they pick up their pet again and they give them a cuddle. There's nothing better than that, I think.
Thank you, Suzana, for your time today, and have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you.